Yeah. It is episode 152 of Wassup Flobo. This is the show we just hang around and chat about what's going on in the world. And as always, gotta say thank you so much for checking out this episode and all the other episodes right here in that YouTube channel, youtube.com/FLOBOBOYCE. And you can always support the homie in other ways as well. You can go ahead and buy a t-shirt or a mask or a hoodie or a book at patreon.com. Oh, actually, no, excuse me, that's the wrong one. Flobito.threadless.com. And then also there's a Patreon. We call it the Boisterous Crew. So you can unlock bonus material, bonus shows, and all of that good stuff. So, one of my shows I have right now, which has become one of the more fun ones for me, well, like I said before, every show I do is fun, or else I wouldn't do it. But they're fun in different reasons. For example, Commander's Log, I like Star Trek Discovery, and it was kind of like my way to give a twist to it. So that was cool. I liked wrestling. I like NXT. That's why I love NXT UK. That's why I do Draped in Gold, the wrestling show, every Thursday. But the two shows that have grown the most for me are New Amsterdam Radio, which if there was ever one show that will be eligible to win a Peabody Award, it'd be that one. Because I get to sit down and chat with movers and shakers in art and hosting and media and entrepreneurs and get to drill down what makes them tick and why they did what they did and how they did what they did. So that's become a flagship in one way. And of course, What's Up Flobo After Hours. This is the show that kind of started as a whim, a spin-off of this show, if you can imagine that, but it has grown into its own entity, and I actually look forward to it. Granted, there's some Monday nights where I go, man, I am too tired to be doing this show live at 10 p.m., but when it starts, it's always so much fun. But recently, I had an episode of What's Up Flobo After Hours. This is actually two episodes. Check out episode 25 and episode 30, where I played a game called the Risky Sevens. And this is a game where I'll ask my guest 7 questions of increasing difficulty on a certain topic, which each question getting it right, I will donate money to a charity on their behalf. The reason why it's called Risky Sevens is that, for 2 reasons. One, if the guest gets the question wrong, there is no money donated. Because frankly, hey, I want to make sure they lose because I'm not that rich. It's a joke. But also, if they get all 7 questions correctly, there is an unlockable 8th question that goes double or nothing. So it becomes a risk in that way. So if you banked $35 in the first 7 questions, then you get a chance to make it 70 with this magical 8th question that's presumably the hardest of it all, but obviously it wouldn't be because I don't want to be a Grinch, right? Like, oh yeah, I know you raised money for that orphanage, but sorry, you got a question wrong, so you're totally out of the box. The last time I did a show, or that game actually, someone hit me up on Twitter and they asked, well, what charities do you donate to? And is it okay if anyone donates to any charity, whether a guest here? And I go, yeah, as long as it's not like controversial. And I know that itself could be loaded. Anyone could pretty much support their charity if they're on the show and we play that game, Risky Sevens. So it's not a problem. I'm not like picking and choosing for them. But for me, and I know I touched upon this in other videos, but I don't know. I like to share what I donate towards. I know for a fact, most definitely, I try to put something back to my alma mater, my undergrad. Not a lot though, because I don't want them like hounding me in my mailbox. Yeah, I don't want them hitting me up like, "Yo, man, you want double your donation?" But I'll throw in a couple of dollars here, $20 here, $30 here when I can. My not only my college, my undergrad, which was Flagler College, I would do my honor society, Omicron Delta Kappa, which I was a part of when I was in college. Every so often they're looking for support. I'll support them in that way. But the two non-educational ones, or say non-collegiate ones, I guess, are Wikimedia Foundation. I use it every day. I don't donate a whole lot. It's probably like $3 a year or $3 every 6 months or every time they ask. But I feel like it's fair, if I use Wikipedia as a jumping off point for everything, knowing, one, it has a lot of information, but two, it's not the only source of information. It's a place to get started, a primer for things. I don't see why they shouldn't get some support. And to tick off my dad in a cool way, because he donates to my alma mater too, which I told him not to, because when I left college, I was like, this place sucks, don't do it. He's like, no, it's fine. I get back at him by donating to the New York City Transit Museum, which is not only a place where he worked, this is transit specifically, the actual operations side for like 35 years. The museum does a lot of things for people on the spectrum. A lot of kids on the spectrum, they'll have like classes and trainings and a little bit of a scavenger hunt game. They call it Subway Sleuths. I'm not sure if they're able to do that now with the pandemic, but I thought it was a cool cause. It's very New York. It's very me. If I'm ever on some kind of game show, that'd probably be the charity I would donate to. When I was getting sponsors in my running career, in my mid to late 20s, I was doing a lot of marathons and half marathons. I would raise money for the Crohn's Colitis Foundation of America. My first race, that was the presenting sponsor, was the CCFA. And so I decided to keep that as like my sponsor. Every time I ran for charity or was raising money, it would be the CCFA. For those of people on that spectrum of irritable bowel syndrome and diseases, or IBDs, excuse me, the Crohn's Colitis Foundation of America is one that I support as well. So I always try to spread the wealth around. There's not much wealth to be had in my instance. Like, there's no organization that's going to break through any kind of thing with my support because I have nickels, dimes, peanut shells, and piles of lint. But it feels good just to spread the wealth with you can. And I think it's pretty cool too when I have someone on the show, Wassup Flobo After Hours, to say, let's sweeten the pot. Let's make these, instead of have these questions be questions, let's have it for a good cause. And if you get none right, I mean, I'm not going to be like, forget the charity. I mean, I'll donate something. But no one's ever gotten 0 right before. But that's always fun to talk about. So I don't know. What charities do you donate to? Which one should I be a part of? Can't believe I forgot this. As a writer, I'm kind of lapsed. I should probably hit them up again. But I have in the past donated to the CBLDF, the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund. It's a nonprofit that supports writers and artists who are somehow, for one reason or another, are usually censored or sued or has their materials destroyed if it's considered indecent or obscene in communities. And so it's more like the freedom of speech type deal, but more like on the comic book side or the historical side or the graphic novel side. So as a comic book writer, I would love to support that cause too, because how many times have we seen in human history what happens when you burn books, right? Perspectives get diminished. Now, this is different than jumping in the streets and chanting a perspective. You know what I mean? That's a whole different issue, which I won't get into. But if someone writes a comic book, they should have the right to do it. You know what I mean? About something that's going on in their lives. Or if someone has a provocative character, they have a right to create it. Whether or not we support it, whether or not we put it in bookstores, that's a whole different issue. So this Comic Book Legal Defense Fund, that's another one that I do intermittently. But let me know what you're donating. Let me know what you're supporting in the comments below, in the chat below. That'd be kind of cool to have a little bit of a giving circle, putting people on to new organizations that may need your help. Well, that does it for me. So you know the deal. If you like what you're seeing here on the show, on the channel, there's so many shows, you can throw a couple dollars in the tip jar. Hit me up at buymeacoffee.com/FloboBoys. Just put a couple dollars, support the homies, support the arts, and all that jazz. I'll be hearing from you guys next Wednesday on the now weekly What's Up Flobo